From the F3 Knoxville podcast studio, which is Blindside's back porch.
Oh, I could barely lift my right arm because I did so many. I don't know if you heard me counting, I did over 1,000.
This is Beyond the COT, a weekly podcast connecting the packs of F3 Knoxville and beyond through invigorating male community leadership, through fitness, fellowship, and faith. Avengers!
Assemble.
38 school zone.
School zone. 34 strip.
40 kickflip. 56 high heels.
High heels, respect.
37 trunk.
The F3 Knoxville Beyond the COT podcast starts right now. All right, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Beyond the COT. I hope you like that new intro, what I spent my spring break working on. I'm still tweaking a little bit. I'm not super in love with it just yet. I do like the Avengers going into the name of Rama. I thought that might be a cool little thing to do. That'll be the intro for Beyond the COT, your once a week Monday podcast. Yes, I know, you're probably not hearing this on Monday. You're probably hearing this on Tuesday. And this goes back to what I said a couple weeks ago about planning. And when you make a plan, God laughs. So my plan was to record the intro here and some of the other stuff for this week's Beyond the COT on Sunday. Turns out the M had plans for us to go to Cookeville all day Sunday and visit with the in-laws. And if any of you have ever heard me talk about my amazing, wonderful in-laws, and they are incredible people, they not only live in Central Time, they embrace the Central Time Zone lifestyle. So no matter how early we say we have to eat dinner so we can be home and get the 2.0s into bed, we always end up leaving there later than we should. So that's why I'm recording this now. Well, my plan then was to do Monday afternoon, and then when I got home from Cookeville last night, I noticed that the 8-foot privacy fence on my in my backyard had fallen. A big section of it. So I spent this afternoon with a little shorty out there trying to fix this, and apparently some of the 4x4s have rotted away. So it's now 7 o'clock, and I'm just sitting down to record a podcast that should have been out 12 hours ago. So that's a little bit about what's going on with me with that new intro. We are going to talk today to Rainbow, the AOQ over at Asylum AM. Asylum still is March's AO of the month. Somehow, some way, March seems to have about 6 weeks in it this year. So, Asylum AO of the month. I went over there and queued a couple weeks ago, or I guess the week before spring break, with Rainbow, and got this interview with him. So, after this short break, we will hear from Rainbow. Are your CMUs lonely? Do they sit out in the weather all day and all night long, longing for that 45-minute beatdown, 1, maybe 2 times a week? If that's the case, you need to get yourself a patented Trunks SmokeHouse, brought to you by the Equalizer. Your CMUs will never be lonely again. They stack neatly inside, just waiting for that beatdown to come at 5:30 in the morning. That's Trunks' patented Smokehouse CMU holder, brought to you by the Equalizer. Okay, I'm here with Rainbow, AOQ of the Asylum AM. How are you doing, Rainbow?
I'm doing great, Blindside. Thanks for being here this morning and queuing us up. And before we get into anything, let me just thank you for being the him that you've been in a short amount of time. It's been a blessing to Knoxville. So,
well, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a good cue. We did a little Ghost Man baseball and a little Opposites Attract. That's what I'm calling that one that we did after, which is brand new. Came up with that last night.
It was fun. It was good.
So, let's start off just a quick 2 minutes, not even. How long have you been doing F3? Who EH'd you, and where does your name come from?
Yeah, so I've been doing F3s. It's been about 5 years now, I guess, right? So
wow.
I started about this time in 2017.
Okay.
I had to count on my fingers to make sure that was fine.
So who aged you?
Actually, Charmin EH'd me, and he'd been coming, not long before I showed up. And so we had dinner over the one weekend, and he was like, hey, you need to come out to the Asylum on Monday. And I was working out the Y at the same time, so it was just kind of an easy transition over. Yeah. So.
And where does Rainbow come from?
Rainbow, I think I can thank Ribbed for that one, because the question was, I guess I wasn't given good enough, information for them to name me. So it was, what's your favorite My Little Pony? And I couldn't think of, the only one I could come up with was, I think I said Rainbow Dash. And so then that Rainbow stuck.
That sounds like a Ribbed question.
Yeah, exactly.
So going into a little bit on the AOQ side, so how long have you been AOQ here at the Asylum AM?
Right at a year, yeah. So it would have been last March, I think, is when Charmin passed the flag to me.
Okay, so Charmin that was my next question. Who was the AOQ before you? So Charmin. So why did you say yes to becoming the AOQ here? I love working out here. I'm here, five mornings a week. Sometimes, rarely 6, but sometimes I'll make all the way to Saturday. And I just felt like it was something God was calling me to do. I just felt kind of called to be around guys and love on the guys that show up here. So yeah, and being AOQ at the Asylums, I think having 6 days a week, that's the most, I think, of any AO. So how do you find that to be, or it's the only thing that you know? So talk a little bit about that.
Well, luckily, and I know the PM guys kind of handle the Saturday queue for the most part. You try not to nag. 5 queues a week is, it gets to be a lot. So hopefully it doesn't turn into nagging. But things mostly, fall into place. Guys are great about, sometimes they make you nervous and they wait till the last second to pick up a queue or whatever. But it always seems to work out. And that's the great thing about it. I think it's just a great group of guys that this thing is so well run. Before I ever got here, this is, obviously the OG workout spot, and it's just I feel like more like, hey, if I can just kind of steward this thing and kind of keep it moving along, that's all I really need to do. So
would you kind of describe the AOQ role as that is making sure that queue calendar's filled and like you said, stewarding those guys along?
Yeah, I think so. And then I think one aspect that I've really started to focus on and think about is those faces that show up and then drop off, and what does that look like, reaching out to those guys and trying to get them back. And I think we've talked a lot about F&Gs and bringing new blood in. This AO is not to knock any of us, but we're an aging populace.
Sure.
And we need some younger blood in here. So that's also a thing we talk about too, is how can we get younger faces in here to keep this thing going.
So that actually leads right into my next question, is what are some advice for EHing guys to the Asylum?
I think that we all, thinking about me and my workplace, or just the amount of guys that I'm in touch with on any given day is quite a lot. And I think we're just intentional about reaching out to those guys and seeking those guys out outside of F3. I think it makes the conversation easier.
And everybody knows where Lakeshore is, right?
Everybody knows where Lakeshore is. That's exactly right. Yeah.
What are one or two things that's unique about here that you like?
I think, just from a facility standpoint, and I've been to a lot of AOs and they're great. I think we've got access to a lot of great things here. I think it's good. It's centrally located. I think, for the most part, I think that, you really stuck me on this one, man. I'm kind of like, what's great about the AO? Yeah. Well,
it's huge. And like you said, there's so many things. Like we stayed up in the Coliseum today, but I've been here on Saturdays and weekdays where we have gone. I've been to every inch of this park at different workouts, and it is large. It is
well, and that's the thing. Yeah,
you got anything and everything you want.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And I've queued a million times here, and I've tried to never queue the same queue. And I think that's something you can do here. It's something you can utilize different parts of the park and do different things, and I think it keeps things pretty fresh.
Absolutely,
sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've definitely never done close to the same thing here twice. So that's pretty awesome. So the last question is what I'm asking, and everybody that I interview, whether it's just an AOQ or any guy in F3, and it's just why F3.
F3 came into my life. I was in a really pretty tough spot. I was a sad clown without being. I wasn't a sad clown from a workout standpoint or anything like that. I'd lost my dad about seven months prior to starting F3, and I was in a really tough spot and mentally. And I think it just really it helped fill a void for me. It gave me consistency, something I needed, and it helped me not necessarily physically, like I say, because I feel like I was in decent shape, but it helped surround me with a bunch of great guys, and it helped me with some mental toughness and stuff that I needed to be able to push through some stuff. So, I mean, it was really F3 showed up at a great time in my life, and that's why I feel so indebted to F3 and what I know it's done for me. It's helped me work through so many difficult things in my life, and I know it's God working through F3, obviously, but a group of guys and just the consistency of that and the mental toughness of doing hard things and not thinking that you can and pushing through that, I think is such an important life lesson, because we all have to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing that when F3 comes into your life, it's like at the perfect time.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that with myself and with others.
It really is, yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, Rainbow, thank you for sticking around after our workout. And
I fogged up your car here.
I know it's pretty. I even had the defroster on. It's I guess I did a good job queuing this morning.
Yeah, you did.
All right. Well, that's Rainbow AOQ at the Asylum AM. All right. The F3 thing that I want to talk about today is kind of two things. One that I've experienced and have been experiencing, and the other that I plan on doing sometime in the future, and that is Rucking and a GROWRuck event. So turns out Rucking came into my life from the guys over at the Equalizer. Stripped and ribbed, and then as well as Doubtfire at the beginning of my time over there at the Equalizer about a year ago. I noticed that these guys were already at the AO when I got there many mornings. They were rolling in about 5:25 with some backpacks on, and they invited me out to go ruck with them. And I started out with a old backpack full of textbooks and Bibles, actually, some of the heaviest books I could find, both figuratively and literally. And I started walking with these guys, starting at 4:45, getting done around 5:25 back to the AO. We started going through the trails there back behind the Equalizer to the frisbee golf park along the water, and then eventually throughout the summer it got too wet, too rainy, so we started rucking down North Shore a little bit and into actually Rib's neighborhood. We have a nice little circle that we try to get to. I say we average twice a week when the weather's can handle it. We're very fragile and we don't want to ruck in the rain. But I've noticed that it's not easy to walk around with a 30 pound bag on your back at 4:45 in the morning. But what it's really done for me more than anything is the fellowship aspect of F3. It really has brought that more to the forefront. Mumble chatter during a beatdown, cafeteria afterward has been incredible to witness with the second F. But really that time in the morning was stripped and ribbed, like I said, most mornings is really what's really kept me coming to F3, and that time of fellowship with the rucksack on. I have graduated to an actual GROWRuck bag with a 30 pound, with my own 20 pound plate, with a 10 pound barbell in there as well, barbell plate in there. So I found out pretty quickly after I got that my backpack was nowhere near 30 pounds with the textbooks and stuff in it. But, the second F aspect of it has been great. And, you guys know I'm a regular at the Equalizer and at Dog Pound. And while there's some crossover there are some guys that are just Equalizer or just Dog Pound. And they've got their own, group of guys that go rucking there pre-ruck in the morning. Frosty's been coming out a lot more. Really great to see him. Doubtfire will show up there too. Tonka will do both Equalizer and Dog Pound. And we've got our same two and a quarter mile route that we do in that 40 minutes before the beatdown. And it's been great. I've also done some rucking on my own, which is wonderful. Many of you guys have honked at me going down Ebenezer. Just put a podcast in and listen to the podcast, whether it's an F3 podcast, the Minivan Centurion podcast that I've been trying to go through, or just trying to catch up on some of my nerdy movies, sports, all that stuff that I listen to. So it's a great workout. There's one hill that we hit in Ribbs neighborhood that kills me every time. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. And you can really tell a difference in your, abilities when you're, walking around with 30 extra pounds on your back. So I've also done, an event. We did it back in January, starting from 511 Tactical. I think it was the 5.11 miles to remember. It was for veterans that we lose to suicide every day. We did 22 push-ups at the turnaround and 22 push-ups at the end. And that was a great thing to see guys rucking there outside of F3. Lazy Boy was there, I-Beam, Frosty, and some of those guys that are working with those organizations that are also F3 brothers. So, rucking has been a major part of my sticking with F3 and a major aspect of the second F for me. And that leads me into GROWRuck. I know on the Stuff Worth Trying podcast I actually was listening to before I started recording this, they're talking about the GROWRuck that's next weekend, which is kind of interesting because I just saw the documentary that some guys put together about GROWRuck 17, and that was in North Carolina, probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. And if you don't know anything about GROWRuck, it is F3's premier leadership development program. They're throwing out all these acronyms that I haven't gotten a hold of just yet. But, it starts on a Friday night with a second F event and a gathering. Has a beat down on Saturday morning, a good hour-long workout, and then Grow School, which has some leadership training and development, and then Saturday night into Sunday morning you've got a 12 to 14 hour rucking event. So they showed a lot of that in the documentary. It's about 45 minutes long on YouTube. I suggest you check it out. It looks like an absolute brutal of a time, and it's not for the faint of heart. I do think that it's something that my fitness level is probably there, but I will, if I decide to do one, it'll push me, and it's good for, like I said, leadership development. I don't know. I think some of the local F3 Knoxville guys have done it, done one. I know there is one in Middle Tennessee coming up. Like I said, there's one I think in a couple, either this weekend or next weekend, in North Carolina. Maybe too late for that to schedule that one, but if you're interested in doing the Mid Tennessee one, I might hit me up on Slack or hit me up on Twitter at F3_Blindside, and maybe we'll get a plan on, maybe if it's not this one coming up, maybe we start getting together to prepare for one in the future. It's definitely something that I want to experience. I want to be a part of, and so anybody that wants to do that, just hit me up. Also, speaking of, there's Rib there saying that our fox hunt steps off at 4:45 tomorrow at the Dog Pound. Just texted me. So yeah, that's what we call those early morning pre-rucks or fox hunts. And let me tell you, my son really likes, really wants to get out there to hunt a fox. I've yet to see one, just skunks at this point. So I'm gonna also say, the March Madness bracket, this is more of a mumble chatter thing, but that bracket's going. I'm pretty sure I'm second to last. But all you guys that were homers and picked Tennessee to win will probably fall underneath me soon. And I wanted to mention that just because it goes with kind of what I want to say next, which is one of the prizes is to co-host an episode of Beyond the Cot. And, you know, while it is a prize and I want anybody that wants to do it, if you have an idea or want to chat about a topic, just let me know and we can hop on a Zoom, or I can meet you after at a workout, Saturday workout, weekday workout, and we can just sit and talk and record. I would love to get some other guys involved. Just let me know. You also get to, if you win the bracket, not only will you co-host a show, but you get to pick May's AO of the month. And with that, I will announce, now that we are more than halfway through March celebrating the Asylum, that April's AO of the month will be Shamrock. And yes, I do understand the irony that the Shamrock is not March's and St. Patrick's Day. Just how it fell. Starting with Asylum in March when I started this, it would have been perfect to be Shamrock or right around St. Patrick's Day. But Shamrock will be the AO of the month for April. I'll be headed over there. I was supposed to queue there last week. Wasn't able to make it. I had a little migraine. No, not a little migraine. A pretty big migraine where I couldn't see out of one eye at about 5:05 that morning. And I'm thankful for those guys to picking up the slack for me on that. We listened to Rainbow's interview earlier for Asylum. I'm planning on being out there Saturday morning, this Saturday morning for a beatdown at the Saturday Asylum AM. And then Shamrock will be April's AO of the month. And the winner of the March Madness bracket will pick May and co-host with me. And anybody else that wants to co-host, you just let me know. And you will be able to jump on, whether it's for a whole episode or just for a segment, wanting to talk about anything. Any of those guys wanted to talk about rucking or GROWRuck, if you've experienced something, that's definitely something we could talk about. Also, quick shout out to Lebowski. Lebowski's got a rucking challenge website where you can input all of your miles and have like a year challenge and a quarterly challenge and stuff like that. So check over on the Ruck channel on Slack for that. So sorry I didn't mention that earlier, but Lebowski does a great job keeping those things up to date. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Beyond the Cot. Remember to rate, review, subscribe, and please share this with anybody that is in F3 or should be in F3. So use this to EH if you can. If you think that I might be not a deterrent, just go ahead and not share the podcast, but please share. I've seen the numbers go up every week, so I'm really excited this is getting out. And, you know, any and everything that I can do better, please let me know. Again, hit me up on Slack or on Twitter at F3_Blindside, so I can really make this something that all hymns of F3 Knoxville and beyond really will enjoy and get something out of. See y'all Wednesday for Picking Up the 6.